What's up, everyone? Welcome. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. The Brooklyn Nets season has officially come to an end. There was no way they was bouncing back from a 3-0 deficit. There was no way they was going to pull off a miraculous come from behind to, shock the world and beat the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, they put a stamp on this series early. They were clearly the better team. And the Brooklyn Nets in this series, man, they got outclassed. They got out hustled. And Steve Nash got out coached. Steve Nash got out coached. We really saw in this series that Steve Nash cannot coach this team. And I mean, I hate to sound disrespectful because, like I said, I love Steve Nash. Steve Nash is a great guy, but he does not have the coaching credentials. He is not the man for that job. He was put in that job, and he's just there. He's just there. And there was times in the series where Kevin Durant was non-existent. You didn't get much production from Kyrie Irving at times, and we all know that he's not fully committed to begin with. And so is his teammate Ben Simmons, who didn't even play in Game 4. He was ruled out of Game 4, took a lot of criticism for it, should have shown up tonight. I don't think it would have made much of a difference, but they probably would have been able to avoid a 4-game sweep had Ben Simmons played, because Ben Simmons, although he can't shoot the ball efficiently, he can defend really well. And that is something that this Brooklyn Nets team was missing. Defense. They struggled to defend the Celtics, and the Celtics were just explosive. They were just too fast for the Nets. The Nets obviously didn't have an answer for that. And, now the Nets are going home. The Nets weren't as good as advertised. And everyone talked about this team. Everyone hyped up this team. Talked about how good this team was going to be. That this team was going to be an unstoppable force and unbeatable come playoff time. Well, they were wrong, because this team did not show up. They did not meet the challenge. They weren't up for the challenge. And the Celtics just clearly steamrolled them. And Jason Tatum had the series of his lifetime. Jason Tatum balled out. Jason Tatum outplayed Kevin Durant, who is deemed to be the world's greatest player. Some people do characterize him as the world's greatest player. But this Nets team looked lethargic. They looked, uninspired. They didn't play as a team. And they didn't prioritize team play. They didn't play team basketball. And that was the biggest problem with them. And Kyrie Irving even pointed it out during a press conference, but didn't point the finger at himself. Didn't hold himself accountable for why this team couldn't gel and why this team didn't perform well on the big stage. Partly because he was absent and he missed a lot of games during the regular season, so this team didn't play a lot together. They didn't have the time to develop that chemistry and that cohesiveness. And we saw it. We saw it in the playoffs. And this team was in trouble from the start, from Game 1. Boston showed up, and Boston, handled their business. They took care of their business, and they got the job done. And tonight, people in Boston, they pulled out the brooms, and they're sweeping up that Brooklyn Nets trash. It's amazing to me that this team was stacked. It had the star power. It had two of the most dynamic superstars in the game, featuring Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And you mean to tell me you can't even win one game? That's a serious problem to me. But the Boston Celtics are moving on. They have clinched their spot in the Eastern Conference semifinals after their 116 to 112 win over the Brooklyn Nets in Game 4 of this best-of-7 series. And once again, like I said, Jason Tatum was fantastic. Absolutely marvelous in this game. And we've seen his display of talent. We know what he can do. He's a team leader. That is something that the Brooklyn Nets were missing. They were missing a team leader. They don't have leadership on that team. They don't have anyone that can take accountability. And they don't have a coach. Steve Nash is just there. And I mean, I don't know what the future holds for the Brooklyn Nets team. This Brooklyn Nets team, I expect a lot of changes to be made this offseason, but now we'll finally have a series. Because this series was boring as hell, and now we'll finally have something to look forward to watch. Something that should be more exciting and electrifying, because now Boston will advance to face the winner of the series between the Brooklyn, not Brooklyn. Brooklyn is now eliminated, but between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Chicago Bulls, and we all know who's gonna win that series. The Bucks will advance to the next round. They currently lead 3-1. All they need is one more win. They'll get that win at home, and it will be the matchup that everyone would probably look forward to seeing. The Celtics. Let's see if the Celtics can keep this train moving, going into the next round. But Marcus Smart was phenomenal in this game too, and like he said in a tweet, he said it's us versus everybody, and that's the mentality that we have, and they definitely had that winning mentality. They bought it in all 4 games, and I can't say enough about Udoka. An amazing coach. This is a guy who learned under Greg Popovich, and you can see it. You can see it in his style of coaching. It's there, but the Boston Celtics complete the sweep. I think the Brooklyn Nets were obviously the most disappointing team thus far in these playoffs. They didn't live up to their billing, and it was just too much drama surrounding that team as to why they couldn't win in a series. The chemistry wasn't there. Players only wanted to show up on certain nights and forgot they had a game to play. So there was times that the offense was non-existent, and I felt like their offense was just too one-dimensional anyway. All Steve Nash expected them to do was just jack up a lot of shots, and that's not going to win you ball games, and not defend on the other end of the floor. That's crazy. But tonight, Steve Nash tried everything possible. He tried some mismatches. That didn't work. He tried different defensive schemes. That didn't work. But what Boston did on the other side, it worked tremendously. They double teamed. Kevin Durant. They crowded him. They made it where he had to force difficult shots, and it was just a long series for Kevin Durant. And now the memes are probably going to blow up. They're going to most likely be making fun of them. I already saw a meme and I shared it. It's a image of KD in a Boston Celtics jersey. And, people are saying that he's going to now join Boston since he couldn't beat them, because that's what he did. When he was in OKC, he left for the Golden State Warriors, the team he lost to in the prior year. So, there's going to be a lot of people making fun of this team because this team clearly was favorites, to at least get to the NBA Finals, and they fell short, well short of that accomplishment. And it is what it is. Their season is done. They're going home. They're eliminated. They can go fishing now. And, try their luck next season. And we'll see what will happen with Ben Simmons, We'll see we will see what will happen with Steve Nash. But I'll see you guys later. I am now watching the second game, the Utah Jazz and the Dallas Mavericks, and I'm flipping back and forth between that game and obviously the Dodgers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Living here in Southern California, that game's on right now as well. But I'll check in with you guys again tomorrow. You guys take care. Like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you guys so much. And also give my fan page a thumbs up as well and follow there as well, The Sports Judge. Take care. You guys have a wonderful night. Peace.